Morning everybody, so today we're in Antigua and we've decided to come to Fort Barrington, which is up the hill behind us. I don't know if you can see that at all, but it's quite a steep up, and we're going to climb up there and see what's happening at the top there. I don't think much will be happening, but apparently this fort, you said, was the only one used in Antigua on Antigua?
Apparently this is the only one actually used at all on Antigua. We created these forts, or the British created these forts, should I say, as a defence against the French. And this was actually the only one that's ever used. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like up there. And the views are meant to be spectacular. But I have to say, the views around are really quite amazing.
They are. And it's not far from our hotel. It's only about 10 minutes in the car from our hotel.
This is the first time we've been out in the car. When we got the car, she did actually say, be careful of the roads. Well, she didn't actually say that. She actually said, go through and make sure that you know how to change a tyre. And she actually showed us where the spare tyre was, and she showed us where the bits were to change the tyre. And I thought, well, that's a bit odd. And I've hired lots of cars, never actually had that shown to us before, but you can quite see why. The roads are absolutely horrendous. It's actually a case of driving along and managing to avoid the potholes if you're lucky.
And they're not just potholes, they're huge, great big caverns in the middle of the road, and people just go on the other side of the road to avoid them. But it's a small island, isn't it? And it's part of the charm.
It is. It's lovely.
It is gorgeous.
Been here a couple of days so far and absolutely loving it.
Fantastic.
And it does help that the weather is really nice. It is a bit cloudy. It has rained on a couple of occasions, but the weather at the moment is absolutely perfect.
And when it rains, it only tends to rain for a minute or two, and it's not particularly heavy rain either, is it?
No.
So people just tend to stay on the beach even if it is raining, because they know that it's going to be sunny again in a second, which is fantastic.
Indeed.
So off up to the top to Fort Barrington. Hello everyone, I'm Jill, behind the camera's Roger, and we are Which Way Now? So this is Rog climbing up some of the steep bits to go up to Fort Barrington, and we did read that there was a rope to have to get up, and we're quite glad there is a rope, to be honest, because this is pretty steep. So we've now climbed to the top of Fort Barrington, and this is the view, and it is absolutely stunning. And the interesting thing is that in Antigua there are no private beaches, so you can actually go onto any beach at any time and nobody can stop you. So although that looks like a hotel beach, it's not. So behind me, you might be able to just about make out there are 3 cruise ships. That's St. John's, and all the Caribbean cruises come here. It seems that there's 3 every single day, and some of them are absolutely enormous. There's 2 enormous ones and a slightly smaller one in there at the moment. You can also see helicopters buzzing around. And it's amazing, really. Incredible views from up here as well. And it's quite interesting, that's the capital, but it's not exactly high-rise or anything like that, as you can probably see behind us. So when we picked up the car the other day, the lady showed us how to change the tyre, etc, etc. And we thought it was a bit strange because she showed us where the spare tyre was, where the jack was, etc. And the roads are absolutely shockingly bad, but when we came back to the car today, we obviously got quite a slow puncture because this is what we found, which is really annoying because we were hoping to go out for the day. But there you go. So after having changed our tyre, we've now come out to English Harbour and we're going to do this trail to start with. It's only half a mile, but apparently it's very steep and very scrambly. So we're going up to the Shirley Heights lookout, and then we're hoping to come back via the Pillars of Hercules. So we'll just have to see what the trail is like.
Unfortunately, because we had to change the tyre, we're about an hour later than we were hoping to be.
Yeah, so it's a lot hotter than we thought it would be.
But yeah, we're prepared. We've lotioned up. Let's see how we get on.
Good stuff.
So we've only just set off and already it's quite scrambly. We'll see what happens with the rest of it, but they did warn us in fairness.
Interesting. They certainly weren't wrong when they said it was a bit of a scramble, but at least we're in the shade. So it was very strange. You're going through all this quite dark forest and then suddenly you find all these fields of cacti in the middle, which don't seem to go with the forest, but there you go. It's an interesting walk. So we're about 2/3 of the way up the walk to the top of Shirley Heights, and this is the view, and it is quite something. Quite spectacular, beautiful turquoise waters with a few people swimming, lots of boats moored in the bay, and some of the big ships that you can see, they're probably in English Harbour. We think that's English Harbour. We sort of drove through the edge of it, and that's English Harbour over there. And the view is absolutely gorgeous, stunning. So we've just got to the top at Shirley Heights here, and the view is even better if possible. And from here we're going to walk and try and find the Pillars of Hercules, which I'm kind of assuming must be off the edge of that point somewhere, but I don't really know. But we'll find them, I'm sure. So we've just been up to Shirley Heights, lovely views, and now we're on our way back down and we're trying to find the Pillars of Hercules. And we read somewhere that you pass through amazing cactus fields, and I don't know if you can see behind us, but there are incredible cacti all behind us, which are lovely. And the gorgeous views out to sea as well, so we're going to try and do that for you now and show you the views out to sea as well. Try.
Easier said than done.
Exactly. No, you're just seeing more cactus at the moment, aren't you? That's not very good. I'll just twiddle it round,
yeah.
That's fine.
It's actually quite rough out there. There's a sailing boat and he is really going up and down. So
yeah, there's a lot of white horses out on the sea as well, aren't there?
It's actually quite windy when we got up to the top of Shirley Heights. And trying to find this track wasn't that easy. We did try and go through the cemetery, that didn't work. And it was then the next right after the cemetery.
And we don't know if this is going to take us where we want to go, but it's going in roughly the right direction, so we'll follow it.
It's going downhill. That's
absolutely,
always good.
Absolutely. So cactuses come in all shapes and sizes. Try not to get blown away here because it's pretty windy, but these cacti are just amazing. It's very odd that they have these big red bits on the top of them. Some of them are enormous, some of them are multitudinous, and some are a lot smaller, but it is very strange.
So we've just come down what was a very steep bit of hill actually, and very scrabbly in places and not nice underfoot, but hopefully now we're on a bit flatter area. Still no idea where we were going. We did at one stage think we would have to turn around and go back the way we've come, but luckily we didn't, and there are actually arrows on the floor to make sure you know where you're going. Not quite sure what they're for, because there is nowhere else to go unless you want to actually go over the cliff.
Come down quite close to the sea and there's all these layers of rock. Now we're pretty sure that Antigua is a volcanic island, but these layers of rock are quite amazing with the waves all crashing up against them. So we said about the fact there was bits of scrambling, and this is definitely a bit of climbing, not just scrambling. Roger's shown us how it should be done, obviously.
Not quite so sure about that one, but wasn't too bad actually.
That's good. And now it's my turn. Can I do it with one hand is the question, while I hold the camera with the other hand. Oh, actually it's not too bad, you're right, Roger. Wasn't too bad at all. But again, you need to be reasonably fit, I would say, to do this walk.
Yeah. And hold your hat on a lot.
Yeah, hold your hat on indeed. So we're just coming up to the end of the headland, and stunning cactus, and this route has been amazing. Beautiful sea to the left, and incredible cacti all the way around us, along with other trees. I never knew that cactus grew where trees grew. Who knew? So Antigua supposedly has 365 beaches, one for every single day of the year. And this is Galley Bay Beach. Absolutely, oh, Galleon Beach it is, not Galley Bay, sorry,
Yeah.
Galleon Beach. And it's absolutely stunning. Beautiful day as well.
Some very big boats across onto the right hand side if we pan round. Yes, there's a fair bit of money here, I'd say. So we've just got back from our walk, and it was 2 1/3 miles exactly.
Yep.
We were contemplating before we went whether to wear walking sandals or walking shoes. We decided on walking shoes, and in the end it was actually a very good decision.
It was
wasn't
definitely, because I think there was just too many rocks and slippery bits with sandals. Even though I had my walking sandals, it wouldn't have been good, I don't think.
No. But yeah, well worth it if you're in the area. It's now midday or 12:30 or something.
Yeah, about midday-ish, I think.
Not a good time to do it. Mad dogs and Englishmen and all that. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it and would recommend it to anyone else.
Definitely, especially if you've got a reasonable level of fitness and you can enjoy it rather than having to worry all the time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and send us a comment.